Hi all, Pete from Wholesale Vape and Discount E-Liquids joining you today. I've got Ricky with me. Me and myself and Ricky are going to go over an unboxing and explaining what we believe about the Innokin T20s from Innokin. Obviously, through the years that we've been in the vaping industry, we've sold lots and lots of machines. If you're watching this video, you've either bought one from one of our shops or you're one of our staff. Possibly one of our new staff. We'd like you to watch this video, and so it gives you an idea of what to say when you're selling these machines. See what you get in the box, ladies and gentlemen. Right, you get they're all packed very well, the Innokin products. Firstly, let's put it up so Ricky's here as well. So firstly, you get your pen in there. Nice.
Coming in about 7 different colours.
Yeah, 7 really nice colours. We haven't got them all here. We're just doing this really. And like I said, if you're a member of staff, obviously you'll be showing people what colours they come in. I mean, a lot of people that we serve these to end up with numerous different ones, so they can have different colours. You get a different mouthpiece on there, which I'll talk about in a second. So you've got a choice of 2 different mouthpieces, depending which you prefer, how you prefer to puff on there. There's a different one there, which I'll show you about in a second. You get a spare coil in there, and that's just plastic in there. What else got in here? Right, you should have got in here, you should have got a charger, which are pretty good chargers, to be fair. It used to be you got spare O-rings there as well, ladies and gentlemen. Not many people use there. You've got some instructions in there as well, which tell you more about the machine, which obviously not many people read either, but it's always handy to have in there. You've got a guarantee, you've got a battery guide, you've got a little booklet there from Innokin, which you can read if you want. Obviously, most people don't go for all this performance. They generally listen to the person in the shop, because the truth of the matter is, whether you're a newbie or an older person vaping, the main point is to stop smoking, which is why we highly recommend this machine. What I'm going to do now is fill it up with juice, because I've got other things to say, and if I don't, because it does take, it's one thing we did notice with the first run of Innokins, it used to say fill it up with juice and let it soak in for 5 minutes, but we didn't believe that was the case. We believe it needs a bit longer, which I'll talk about again in a minute. Very, very simple to fill it up. You just unscrew the top like that, ladies and gentlemen. There we go, just unscrew that. You get your favourite juice. Obviously, depending what juice you have, you're better off with 50-50 juices, or if you go all Nick Soats, obviously, you can go for 70-30 PG-VG juices, but we wouldn't recommend 70-30 VG-PG, although it will work, but because they're thicker, they will clog your coil up, ladies and gents. So, you know, obviously, if you're buying this from a shop, go on the staff's recommendations. They should know what they're talking about. Very, very simple to fill up. You just see that and just put down the side like that, ladies and gents, and just push like that. You'll notice when you fill these up, when we're selling these in shops, always your best bet is to decide what liquid the person's having, and then fill it up to start with, because then when you're explaining to them about how it's all going to work, it's soaking in. So we've filled that up now. We'll screw the top back on. There is 2 different types. It's very, very simple to use that. Just leave that there to soak in. Now you'll notice the level of the juice. In about 5 minutes time, you'll look at it and wonder where the juice has gone. It's just a lot of the juice will have soaked into the cotton, which is what you want it to do, because obviously if I was to puff that now, that is the most important thing. Whether you're a newbie, whether you're a staff, do not make sure whatever happens at this point, the person doesn't push the button, because that will burn the cotton, and then you'll need a new coil, because once you've burnt the cotton and the coil, it will always taste burnt. And another point to make is always make sure it stays, you know, relatively filled up as well, because obviously if it gets too low, the cotton's going to be heating up with nothing to soak into it. So I'm just going to leave that there for a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what else you've got in in the box. You get a nice little charger in there, which I used to use these for my Samsung phones, but I think they might have changed now. Is that right, Rick?
USB-C now.
Yeah, is that? Yeah. So they've changed now, but it's quite easy to charge these. When it runs out, when I turn it on, does the battery change on this one, Rick?
It does, so it will go green, orange and red. Exact same for when you're charging it up. So as you're using it throughout the day, you'll notice it might be on green. That means you're all good to go. You're on about 80 or above 80% charge. Once you start using it more throughout the day, it'll go down to amber, meaning you're about 50, and then it'll go down to red when you're about to die. Exactly the same principle as if you are charging it, guys. It'll be red when it's like not really charged. It'll go to orange and then it'll go green. But how you'll know it's fully, completely charged and ready for your full day's worth of use, it will completely turn off and you'll have to turn the machine back on again.
Yep, that's good. So to charge it, you just make sure you plug this in the white railway, ladies and gentlemen. I'm guilty of this. So make sure you get the bit, obviously, just plug that in there like that. You put that into the wall charger. What wall charger do they use?
So the most important thing with this one, guys, this is another top tip as well, and you must use, guys, a 1 amp or below charger. All these new phones these days, like iPhone, Samsung, stuff like that, they're all super fast charging, and if you do that, you'll pretty much blow the battery and you just wouldn't wear it out. So make sure your charger is 1 amp or below for it to charge safely.
And another point, like, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it's gone in flush that way. But do make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you're looking at the way the end of that goes. Just don't go, if you try and ram it in the other side. We get several occasions where people have tried to ram it in upside down, and obviously you'll break the charging port inside. So when you're selling one of these machines, make sure you explain to the person, how to get it the right way around. Maybe if they're not 100% sure, you could even put like a little marking on the bit that went on the bottom, maybe like a little sticker. It probably does say on there if your eyes are good, but obviously I've been doing it for a long time, so I can see. And just push it right and it goes in pretty easy. But if I tried to push it the other way, I would break the machine. Obviously with machines and that, they all will break. I think you get a 28-day guarantee with these machines. However, some people, they last a lot longer, but clearly if you're chucking it around, if you're pushing the end in, I mean, we get on occasions when we do get these back, sometimes, people really don't look after them. Just say to the customer, treat it like, the machine with a little bit of respect. It'll stop you smoking, but don't throw it around everywhere. Right, so I've said all about all that. I'll put that back in the box now. Stick that down like that. We really do believe, ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing about somebody, we get a lot of people coming to our shop saying they've been to other shops and they've been upselling. So we would generally, obviously, you need to know what sort of budget somebody's got to spend. Clearly there is, more expensive machines available. That's a more expensive Innokin. That's a more expensive machine. You've got to fit the person into what they want to, what they're looking at. I mean, as you see, obviously I like Innokin. I've got 2 Innokin tanks on my other 2 machines. These are Innokin Slides, slightly different than that, but it's the same company. This isn't promoting any particular. We generally want people to stop smoking and then they come back and buy, and you know what, we don't want people having problems. We want people to be happy and generally stop smoking. Obviously then they come back and spend money with us, which is obviously an advantage for us, but we've all got to make a living somehow, ladies and gentlemen.
Make sure you always keep your boxes, guys, if you've bought a machine, because say anything happens, these are generally really good, but if you was to return it and it was a fault, you'd have to return it with a box. So we'd recommend keeping the box.
Yeah, stick it all back, stick it in the cupboard. You've got your instructions, stick it back in there, and then you put your coils in there as well. So you got the coils are relatively inexpensive in these machines. They're around about £2 or £3 each, which How long would you say a coil should last, Ricky, on average?
To be totally honest with you guys, this question here is really like asking how long is a piece of string. But if you puff it accordingly, what we recommend, this is a top tip, we'll be highlighting this at the end of the video. What we say is have 2 puffs and leave it to soak for a minute. Yeah. So meaning don't be sat there at your desk or whatever, caning it away, guys, because you will burn your coil out a lot faster. If you would like to get 1 to 3 weeks plus out of your coils, like Pete does, because as you can see in this video, he's probably puffed his vape 1 or 2 times. If you want to get that sort of coil life out of your coils, guys, make sure you have 2 puffs and leave it to soak in a minute. If you're going to be sat there caning it all day, your coil can burn out within a day. But on average, we would say I would be happy if you got 1 to 3 weeks out of a coil.
Mine sound like Ricky's right there. Mine lasts me a long time because I use mine correctly. I've got a nice strong amount of nicotine in mine, and I don't over puff it, so I let it cool down in between. I mean, there are occasions, obviously we've sold a lot of e-cigarettes in our days. You know, we see some people, predominantly, it's when they've only got a short term for a break. Like you'll see them, you know, if you work in an office and you can't vape and you rush outside and puff it like you would a cigarette, where you puff it and then go again. Clearly, the cotton is going to be getting drier and drier, and then you've got more chance of burning it out. So it's better to use it. We're fortunate that we can vape here. So it's better to use it in that context, and you can just have a vape. Obviously in a vape shop you can, but it's better to use it that way around. There's 2 different mouths. So I've not used one of these for a little while. I've been on the slide tank myself for a little while. But obviously, you know, when you're moving in, you've got machines like this, but this is a slightly dearer one. You know, battery life's longer, but we'll talk about that in a different video. You know, there's all different ones, but this is one that we sell a lot of because it's in a nice price bracket for somebody starting smoking, and it does exactly the same thing. I'll just let that soak in for a couple of more seconds, ladies and gentlemen. What else can I tell you about this machine? Yeah, you've got 2 different mouthpieces there. So obviously you'll get to the one that you like. Like, I think I prefer that one, ladies and gentlemen. The sort of rounded one, but there is that one as well that you can choose from. But obviously you'll try. And if you did lose that one by any chance, then you could just use that one. So we'll put that down there a minute. I'm gonna stick with the one that was on the machine to start with. Right, so I'll push a button there. It's obviously started turned off, so you click it 3 times and it'll come on. Right, so when I push the button now, ladies and gentlemen, you see it flash 3 different colours. If I push the button now, you should hear it buzzing. You see? Heard that? I'm not over going to push it, just because it's still sort of soaking in a little bit. It's probably well and truly soaked in by now, but I don't want to sort of burn the coil. And that's sort of telling you that it's working. The element inside is heating up the juice, and if I was to suck on that, I should get vapor. We'll try it in a second, ladies and gentlemen. What we've particularly liked about these this is a 20S, which in our opinion, you know, we've sold a lot of T18s, which we found to be absolutely amazing. So many people stopped smoking on them. The T20S came along, and there's been T20s since they've come along that we didn't think were better. However, we would just slightly score this one above. When Ricky gets back, we're doing a video on the T18. There's nothing at all wrong with the T18E. But I think this is slightly better for a couple of reasons, which I'm sure I'll tell you about in a minute. I'm going to have a puff on this now, ladies and gentlemen, just see how it goes. Yeah, you know, it is pretty good, ladies and gentlemen. Very much like a cigarette, quite a strong, quite a hard puff you get on it, as you can see. But obviously, if I didn't want such a hard puff, I would have puffed it lighter. You can puff it lighter. For a newbie doing this, if you're on freebase nic, which is like 6, 12 or 18 nicotine, you will find, to start with, it will tickle the back of your throat and make you cough a bit. Just persist with that. If you're coughing in the shop when you buy one, that's what everybody does when they first start, because you're not used to it. Give it a day, just take a slightly lower puff. Eventually you get used to it. And truthfully, ladies and gentlemen, I believe I was a 40-a-day Marlboro Red smoker. I stopped smoking on a sort of pen type device, and then when this sort of machine came along, It's when we got into the vape industry in a bigger way. I believe that this sort of machine will, has been a sort of changer, and there's lots of other machines as well. Aspire Pocket X's are very good. There's many other machines, and there's many machines. I mean, that tank there, you could take off that tank and put it onto a more longer life battery. Ricky, what's the milliamp battery this one, mate?
1500 milliamp.
1500, is it?
Roughly lasts about a day.
Roughly lasts about a day. I mean, long term. The truth of the matter is, this is from the bottom of my heart, ladies and gentlemen. The truth of the matter is, when people go into an e-cigarette shop, if they walk into a shop and say, most people are on a budget. So if you started to say to them, this is more importantly to staff, truthfully, they do need 2 of these. Because what happens if one runs out, they all start panicking and start thinking about buying cigarettes again. But when you say it to them, it's as if you're trying to upsell. It's not. It's the truth. So what we say in our shops is what I used to say is, look, take one machine for now, stop smoking, get on with it, and soon you'll start looking at your battery and think, when's it going to run out? So you'll be panicking. Whereas if you had another machine already sort of ready to go, but we leave that for the customers, down to the customer's discretion. That's up to them. I mean, there's several customers. When it becomes their birthday, they get a new colour. This comes in 7 or 8 great colours, so they have different colours. But we really do believe in this product, ladies and gentlemen. We've sold thousands and thousands of these, and thousands of coils. Another bit of advice, ladies and gentlemen. If ever you burn the coil, don't try and save the juice. The juice will be... I would throw the juice away, because the juice will always be tainted. Right. So I'm going to get a bit of tissue, because it could get a bit messy, because Ricky's got quite a bit of juice in there. Normally people, when they change a coil, they haven't got so much juice in them. Right, so you unscrew the top like that, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to zoom in on this one, guys, so you've got a better angle of it.
I've not done one of this set of a machine for a long time, so hopefully I can remember what to do, ladies and gentlemen. Right, you unscrew that bit there, and then you just pull the thing coil out. There you go. And then I'm letting the juice go onto there. Right, I'm just going to leave that there. So I've changed the coil, so that there will go in the bin, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put that down there just to drain it out of juice a little bit. Then I'm going to get the new coil. Right, so I'm shaking that off just to get the juice out. Now the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see, has this one got ridges? Yeah, it's got ridges. It'll have ridges along there, ladies and gentlemen. When the coil goes in like that, just see how that's clicked in, ladies and gentlemen.
So I can give you a little close-up on this.
Yeah, you do a close-up of that, Ricky. You take the coil back out again and you show them.
This here, as you can see like that, you can see how this here, guys, is sat all flush. That's a perfect angle of it there. You can see nothing sticking out. This is what it will look like if you don't have your coil in right, guys. You see how that's not sat in properly? So all you want to do to change this is you literally grab that and you spin it. And you see that drop down? Spin it and let it drop down like that, guys, and you will know it is put on correctly.
We've had hundreds of... This is for staff and people that have bought one. If you're in a shop and somebody walks in, and before they've even said anything, and they start walking up to you, and you can tell they're about to say something, and you see a gap like that, what it means is they haven't got the coil in right, because the coil's sitting down too low, and it means that there won't close up. Obviously this will close up because the coil's in right. So it should sit flush like that when the coil's in. You see how you can't see the gap? If ever you see that gap, the next thing out of their mouth is going to be where it's like, oh, I've filled it up with juice and it keeps leaking. Because it will do. Because there'll be a gap at the bottom, at the top and the bottom where the juice can come out. So when, always, ladies and gentlemen, if ever that bit there doesn't shut down properly and it ends up like that, something's gone wrong with the coil. The coil's not sat in properly. So take it back out, pull the coil out, pop back to your local shop or whatever, and make sure you get that in properly, because if it's not, you're going to have juice leaking down your pen, which isn't good, obviously.
We're just going to go over the pros and cons now, because there's obviously pros and cons to everything, but this is my word of it, guys. We'll start with the cons to start with, because there's very few cons. I'll just get them out of the way. One of the cons, guys, it is obviously non-adjustable. So like some vapes here, you can obviously adjust it up and down to exactly how you like it and tune it in. You're unable to adjust either the airflow or the battery power on it. But don't worry, guys, it is already set to the ideal wattage and the optimal wattage for the coil to last the longest. So it gives a brilliant flavour, but you are unable to change it along with the airflow. Another one, guys, is if you smash the glass, you can't just buy the glass tube. This one here, you've got to buy a whole glass tank. It's not the end of the world. They're only about £12 to £15, but you can't buy the glass tube. Another one, guys, it isn't a USB-C yet, so it isn't a fast charger. It's just a standard sort of old Samsung connectors, so you will have to be careful when you're putting it in. I'm liking the companies who do a lot of these USB-C vapes now, because you can obviously put them in either side. That's pretty much all the cons we have for it, guys. The pros, amazing machine for under £30, possibly the best. It gives an immense puff for the size of the kit. Another one, guys, it's super easy to use once you know how it works. It's very easy to use. Another one, it's above average on consistency, guys. So a lot of vapes sometimes they do fail from time to time. This one here, guys, whatever you throw at it, it will just continue working. Another one, guys, the coils are nice and cheap and not overly expensive. They're around £10 a packet. Along with the coils, they are very decent and long-lasting coils. Obviously, like every vape, the more you puff it, the more it's going to burn out. But on average, guys, these coils do hold up. And the other thing is, it is very good for juice control. So it's not going to burn your juice too fast. It's nice and easy on the juice. But again, that depends how you puff it.
That's all. I concur with all that, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing I would add to it is, you know, I just had a puff then, and it is particularly good on the puff. I know Ricky's already said that. It is a very good starter kit. I mean, we think it probably is the best in that category. We're going to go through each of our ranges. You know, obviously you need to know what sort of budget somebody's on, you know, and what sort of, like, if they want something, you know, really small or much bigger, or they want to go on high VG juice. I mean, I'm sure there's something that me and Ricky's forgotten. This was our very first video that we've done, but we just generally want to, you know, we're taking a lot of new staff on at the moment, so we want the staff to sort of sit and listen to this video 2 or 3 times. I know it might be boring, but we generally want people who come into shop to sit down. Obviously at the moment with the COVID it's difficult. Sit down, go, you know, but this, you might be watching this video when the COVID's all gone. Sit down, have a coffee, have a cold drink, and generally put a bit of thought into stopping smoking, because it's not like going and buying a pack of cigarettes, for instance. You've got to understand what happens when it goes wrong, you know, what happens when the battery breaks, you know, the fact that it's possible you might need 2 or 3 devices realistically, you know, because if one goes wrong, you'll see me, you know, I've always got 2 or 3 devices. Like today I've got these 2 on me. Now I'm going to have a third. You know, I've got these 2 devices with me today. Often I have different flavours, so if I get bored, that's about it really, ladies and gents. You know, but and to any staff that are watching this, please just remember, just because this might not be what you're using, you might have got a big machine. This has been a game changer. We've sold thousands of these, and we believe this is a, you know, great place to start people off. Amazing, thank you. It's goodbye from me, goodbye from Ricky, and hope you have a successful time quitting smoking, ladies and gentlemen.